Howdy everybody, how is it going? Hope you are all doing fantastic in the world of rock and roll. So if you want to skip me blab it and get right to the actual tips and stuff like that, go right ahead, I got you covered. You can skip me talking, but if you want to stay here and listen to me blab, you're in for a treat. So this is a sequel to a video I had done a couple weeks ago. So big mistakes all guitarists make. And you guys listed some killer tips down below, and I wanted to do a second video, and I want to throw the question out there again. If you think of things that I don't list in this video, list them down below. Maybe there'll be a third part to this video. But there were some really good tips in there that I was just like, you know what, I need to do a second part, because I think that these tips would really help, especially, beginner players and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and jump on into this one with numero uno, and let's go.
Oh yeah!
So mistake number one, and how to fix it, of course, is playing in tune. As a guitar teacher, I can't believe I didn't think about this one. So many times do students come in and their guitars are wildly out of tune, and what happens is you get your ears really honed in and used to hearing an out-of-tune guitar, so then whenever you finally are in tune, that sounds wrong. So you really want your ears to be used to hearing an in-tune guitar. And just not really, you don't want to hear it out of tune. And I guess the way to fix it is tune your guitar. Tuners are extremely cheap nowadays. 9 times out of 10, I use a free tuner app that is just on my phone because I don't always have a tuner with me, but I have my phone with me usually. So you can download apps. You could purchase, what are they, Snarks, the Polytunes from TC, all that stuff. They will all work. Just make sure it only takes a second. Tune your guitar before you start practicing. Now, another one that someone listed that I thought was a genius tip, that is trim your fingernails. Now, of course, if you're a classical player, maybe you'll have longer fingernails on your right hand, but if your left hand has longer fingernails, that is a huge mistake, because what's going to happen is, and I found this all the time, again, with more like beginner students, but sometimes we just forget. I just had to cut my fingernails before this video, so that was kind of ironic. I was like, oh man, my fingers are just having a hard time pushing the strings down all the way because my nails were a little bit too long. And that's exactly what happens. So obviously, to fix this problem, just cut your fingernails, obviously. But it really helps a lot, because especially, like I said, if you're a beginner guitar player, what happens is your nail will hit that fingerboard before you push the string all the way down, and you'll end up with notes that are kind of like, either you overcompensate and you get notes that are sharp, because you end up pushing too hard to try to get that, here it goes kind of sharp when you really dig in and push that note down. But that's a really good one. I'm sorry I don't remember the names of the people who listed these, but that was a great tip. Make sure you cut your fingernails. That way you can really grab those notes and just kind of play them. There you go, nice and in tune. That's number 2. So number 3, now this is another really good one. I didn't mention the first one, but it's one I thought about mentioning, and that is playing standing up. Now, I think that a lot of people, we get used to just kind of sitting here. Let me get my phone out of my way, and we just sort of kind of sitting here playing. Now, a lot of times when we're practicing, we're sitting down. And there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, I sit down more than I play standing up, but I still, obviously, as I started playing out more and playing live, I needed to get used to playing standing up, because it's a whole different world from sitting down and playing. So I think it's an too common mistake that maybe there's this misconception that it's the same. Like, oh, if I can play sitting, I can play standing. And then you stand, and everything's kind of like positioned differently, especially if you're a person who plays like I do, with their guitar on their right leg. This is much more kind of like how you'll be holding your guitar when you're standing up. But I don't know, I've always just been more comfortable with this. But like I said, if you're a person who likes to sit and play, nothing wrong with that at all. Make sure you take the time to stand up and play. I don't have my strap right now, but another thing that I feel like standing up and playing does is there's a certain kind of connection between the instrument. It makes me just like get more amped up and ready to play. Like I said, you kind of get in that rock stance, and you're just like, all right, I'm ready to do this thing. And then before you know it, you're just over there like... standing up. So let's get to number 4, and this one is the opposite of all the other ones. The other ones all involve playing. Number 4 is taking breaks. Don't sit there and kind of like torture yourself working on something. I think that sometimes the best thing you can do is to, if you're having a hard time with something, just take a breath, get away from it, and just come back to it a little bit later. Maybe go on to something else, because if you're getting frustrated, it really affects the way that you're kind of digesting what you're learning. And you want to be very relaxed when you're playing, because as we get frustrated, we tend to tense up more, and that's really not ideal for playing, the guitar. We want to be very relaxed. Like I said, anytime you're like really tensing up, it's not good. You're going to end up like hurting yourself, or it's just going to be a whole different sound. It's like if you play like a riff that's very tense, like. But if you put like groove, like if you're like relaxed. Obviously, if you're going for a different feel, but that's another thing. Like if you're like playing fast lines, if you're not like super relaxed, you're gonna end up with a very stiff and just kind of like almost like too aggressive. You're gonna overcompensate a lot of stuff. So obviously, the thing to do to fix this issue is if you are just having a hard time learning stuff. There's all the time that this happens to me. I'll just be like, all right, if I'm getting frustrated, my wife hears me in here, I'll be like, just like you literally like. We're at the point where you're just like, why can't I play this? You get upset. And I'm just like, all right, I need to like back away from this for a second, because I'm just getting too aggravated and I'm just not going to be able to play it. I'll go get something to drink, kind of walk around, maybe go outside, get some air or something. Then I come back to it, and usually I can actually, do it better or something like that. So sometimes taking a break is the answer to playing better. And the final one I wanted to leave off today is having fun when you're playing. Now, I kind of wanted to direct this in a different angle, as, again, from a teacher's standpoint, I came across a lot of parents who forced their kids to play guitar. And, the kids never enjoyed it. And I think that music is one of those things that you have to be invested, like on an emotional level, like invested into wanting to learn it. You're excited about it. You're passionate about it. I think passion is one of the biggest things. And I feel like whenever you're forced into it, you're not going to have fun. And that's the number one thing. Because at the end of the day, music is a blast. I have so much fun when I get to sit down. I've been sick, and I haven't got to play guitar for a few days. And I came in here, and if you notice, I'm using no effects. I was like, I just want to like plug into an amp. I'm playing through the Rev and jam. That's it. Let's do this video. No effects. I just want the raw. Play some wrong notes, play just a nice dirty rock and roll tone, but I'm having fun. It's because I started playing guitar all on my own out of sheer passion. I was intrigued. I wanted to, how is he doing these sounds? Like I said, it was Eddie Van Halen who made me want to start playing. I'm like, what is that? How is he doing that? So I think that that's a very crucial part. So the one thing is, if you are just genuinely not invested in guitar, and you feel like you have to always make stuff, because I will say this, there's parts of guitar that take discipline, and for me, I always enjoyed learning scales and stuff like that, to be totally honest, and I always, looked forward to that. I liked hearing, like, I was like, oh, that's the sound I've been hearing in my head. I didn't know how to get that, but now I can hear, like, that's what's coming through, that's that Lydian. Sound that I like so much. Now I know how to get it. That stuff was really exciting to me. But I feel like you really have to be having fun with it. And you'll know when you're having fun because you can't get enough of it. Minutes turn to hours all of a sudden of playing. You're like, I'm just going to sit down and play for a couple minutes just to practice. And before you know it, you've been sitting there for 4. Before I even hit record on the video, I've been sneaking up here for 2 hours. I didn't even realize it. I told my wife and son, I was like, I'm going to go shoot this video real quick. And like, all right. And I just like realized, I was like, I've been up here for 2 hours before I even hit record. It's because you get lost in the instrument, you're having fun, and the cure for that, to me, is find something about the instrument that is fun for you. Alrighty guys, that was probably a long-winded video. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said before, if you've thought of other mistakes that you've come across in your time as a player, leave them down below. Doesn't matter how long you've been playing, everyone has input that they can offer, and I think that we can all learn something from this video. So, other than that, guys, I will see you all later. Peace out, homies. Keep on rocking, and have a good day. Later, guys. Woo!